and there will be speakers, quite a number. Moderation, as I said, will be by me, Ludwig Haag and Julia Chenu. We are both from Baum Consult München Berlin. We are the support team for the joint programming platform Smart Energy Systems, also called Eranet Smart Energy Systems. We will hear a bit more about what that is. We took the step, we invited other people. We will have a panel discussion with experts from various programs. We will ask you people about what you think and what you expect from such a project chain program. And towards the end, we will tell you how it's gonna proceed, but in between there will be breakout sessions. First of all, I would like to invite Alessia Glocchiatti. She is at DG Energy in the European Commission. And if all the others do us a favor, so that she has the screen, everybody else, can you switch off your screens, please? I would turn to Alessia. Alessia is an expert in policy making in the Commission, of course, especially in the area of energy innovation, etc., clean energy technologies, but also, and that I have taken from your LinkedIn, Alessia, also in investments. That's interesting. And you are passionate about not only international programs, but also about youth engagement. I hope you accept such an old moderator. But it's your turn, your little introductory speech, Alessia.
Thank you very much, Ludwig, and good morning to everybody. And thank you very much for this invitation to join you at this EUSEW event on the project chains. Indeed, today I'm wearing my hat of expert in energy technologies and cooperation with member states. But indeed, I've also worked a lot with youth and on financial instruments. But it's a pleasure to have you, Ludwig, as moderator today. So as Ludwig was saying, I'm working in DG Energy in the unit on research, innovation, competitiveness, and digitalization. Among the tasks, I'm responsible for the SET plan, the Strategic Energy Technology Plan, and the fifth dimension of the National Energy and Climate Plans. So I'm very glad to be here today because really your work is at the core of the implementation of what we try to do at European level. I'm not an expert in project chains, so I will let the other speakers go deeply into this. But I will be happy to set the scene and especially highlight why your work and the meeting, such the one of today, is so important. And of course, we can go back to the well-known Green Deal that we adopted in 2019 and the strategies that we launched last year, the energy system integration, hydrogen, offshore wind, the renovation wave, just to mention a few. And this really provides the ground for clean energy R&I priorities by 2030 and beyond. So for us, they are like our how can I say, pillars when we think about what we need to focus on R&I. And a couple of examples are the new group in the SET plan on high direct HVDC, which was included in the energy system integration communication, and the digitalization of the energy action plan, which was also part of this communication. So just to say that for us, it's very important to set R&I priorities based on the objectives that we put ourselves and the energy and climate goals. And of course, this year we had an increased ambition in order to reach the 2050 decarbonization target with the Fit to 55 package. I will not go into details, but again, the revision of the Renewable Energy Directive, the revision of the Energy Efficiency Directive, and the preparation that we are now undertaking on the gas decarbonization package and the revision of the Energy Performance of Buildings Directive, all these regulatory elements, they spur innovation. So, of course, in order to reach the new targets that the Commission is proposing, and hopefully member states and parliament will agree, we need more. We need more cooperation. We need more joint programming. We need more of what you do. So that's why I wanted to mention this. And another recent fact that has happened, and of course all you know, I think, are aware, are the huge increases in energy prices, which have shown again that the impact that fossil fuels imports have on the European Union is significant. And this challenge calls for short-term measures, of course, at national level and at European level, but also for longer-term actions, including on research and innovation, in order to make our energy system more independent, flexible, and less reliable on imports. So as you see, all these elements are connected to our work on research and innovation. And also the recent communication on the European research area again highlights the need to translate R&I priorities into the economy, prioritizing reforms and investments towards the European priorities. And this is through agreed targets, joint programming, and using the tools that we have, like the new partnership under Horizon Europe, for example, or the other funding programs like the European Innovation Council and so on. So very, very important to strengthen innovation ecosystems for circulation of knowledge, values, researchers, sharing best practices. So I think this is really go very much in line with the project chain concept and what you will discuss today. And of course, another important element is the alignment between what member states do at national level and their prioritization of the national funding with what we do at European level. So the Commission is very much ready to continue supporting this alignment and the cooperation between the two levels. And of course, I cannot not mention the Strategic Energy Technology Plan, which most of you know, since 2007 is our main instrument to foster collaboration between governments, industry, and the research on the clean energy transition. We have 14 implementation working groups per technology. But we also feel, I mean, although we see that they do a very good work, we also see the need to make some modification, to revise it, because the last time was conceived along the clean energy package, and now we have the European Green Deal and the new targets and new priorities. So the plans need to be updated. Some implementation working group have started to update their plans. And we look forward to working more with member states, industry, and academia on this. And of course, this is done by coordinating national R&I agendas on clean energy priorities, and leveraging suitable resources both at European and national level. So it's very important to mobilize public and private investment. So we do a lot of work in trying really to streamline R&I priority across the different funding programs that we have, going for really low TRL to close to the market. So making sure that we have funding tools that can fit all stages of the project development. I mentioned a couple of like the Innovation Fund, the European Innovation Council, but we have also InvestEU. We work a lot with the European Investment Bank. So we want really to make sure that nobody is left behind, and that all technologies have their opportunity and their space in the framework where we work. And to go back a bit to the need to align the needs, so the research and innovation with the energy policy needs. Last year, we started a work with the SET plan to try to bring the work of the implementation working groups closer to the strategies that we launched last year. And for the set plan conference of last year, we produced some strategic input papers highlighting the contribution that the set plan and the RNI community can bring to the implementation of this strategy. And one of the outcomes has been that we really need to break down these silos per technology, which we totally agree, and we look forward to enhancing the cooperation between technologies and working more and more on horizontal aspects, like, for example, the critical role of raw materials or the digitalization of the energy system. And this requires a lot of joint work between sectors and areas that till some time ago were working on their specific targets. So we need to use better the tools that we have. Another example is the new partnership, so the co-funded partnership under Horizon Europe on the clean energy transition. I'm also pretty sure that most of you are aware. So we have so far 69 organizations that are involved from several countries. I don't remember the number. That week to submit the proposal. We have been working a lot with the consortium, with the funding agencies, and I really believe that there is a real shift in the proposal from member states compared to the previous funding programs that we had, like the ERA-NETs. Now we really try to have an holistic approach where we look at the whole energy system, and we try all to work together towards common objectives and targets. So I will invite you to follow this if you haven't had the possibility so far in the coming months, because it's going to be a huge opportunity for member states cooperation. Another element that I wanted to mention is that, of course, at European level, we have the set plan, which is our core instrument. And as I mentioned, it really needs to be reinforced and reshaped and reviewed. But another element is at national level, because we really need to make sure also that member states at national level, they align their RNI priorities with their energy and climate objectives. And in the national energy and climate plans submitted last year, we saw that this was not always the case, that it was very challenging, and that sometimes the so-called fifth dimension, which is the one on research, innovation, and competitiveness, was not in line with the other dimensions. And we understood that there are a number of reasons behind, such as not much collaboration between ministries, but also that sometimes the research and innovation channel goes by itself. And also that there was not much highlight of how the set plan has helped them to boost their RNI plans at the national level. So this was all highlighted in the EU-wide assessment communication that was published last year. Again, I invite you to read it. There is a chapter on research and innovation, which is very helpful to understand why the work that you're doing is so important. And now we will have a nice opportunity to work better, work more with member states, because in 2023, they have a legal requirement to report to the European Commission on the progress that they have made on the implementation of their national energy and climate plan, which includes also the research and innovation part. And there, it's an occasion for us to have a dialogue with them in these 2 years while we prepare the implementing act, to see what have been the challenges, what can we do to support them better, what do they need, and how can the European Commission and the work at European Union level better help them to align their RNI and their energy agendas at national level. And the last but not least, to conclude, the recovery and resilience plans have been a huge opportunity and are a huge opportunity for member states to also spur innovation. Because although the investments have to be made by 2023, which is a very short term for RNI project, this doesn't mean that the investments that will be made, for example, to increase renewables do not require cascade investments on specific research and innovation aspects. So we are really confident that also all these plans that some have been approved, some are on the way to be approved, will really give a boost to this. So we have the tools, we have the people, we have the funding. It's a matter of working together, increasing synergies, maximizes complementarities, and make all what we can to accelerate together this clean energy transition, which is much, much needed. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alessia, for this very dense introduction to a very complex system of innovation. I'm sure that people will visit our website and listen to it again. So
it was a lot.
that was a lot, and something you did not even mention. I will ask you for that. But first of all, we do invite people to show not their faces, but at least what they are and who they are. We introduced a little Mentimeter poll. So if you go to whatever smartphone or separate browser window, please get to menti.com. I show it on the slide here. You also have it in the chat. You find that, you go to menti.com, it asks you for a code. The code is 90675359. It's shown on this screen for a while. Let us know who you are. Are you a funding program representative? Are you a project partner, applicant, researcher? Or are you any other type of sustainable energy professor or professional? Thank you for voting. Alessia, I use the opportunity to ask you something. I mean, you pointed out that all these programs are linked together on European level, and they are also even more now interlinked between the EU level and the member state level. I didn't hear you mentioning the ETIP, or did I not listen? The ETIPs have been set. They have been set up to better link member states to the EU level, but also link the industry to the research. Can you comment on the ETIPs a bit?
Absolutely, yes. And no, it's because there are many, so I mentioned some of. Yes. So the ETIPs, yes, we have InnoEnergy is the KIC with whom we work. On the ETIP, yes, it's the industry bodies of the set plan. So we work a lot with them within the implementation working groups. Well, we are all the time working with them through the work that they do on the specific technologies. So it's the pillar, the industrial pillar, let's say.
Okay, so this is also important. One other puzzle piece that we want to bring together. Can you stay with us, Alessia, for a while?
I stay a bit, but I have to go in 10 minutes. I have another meeting.
Okay, but then you can, maybe you can listen to the introduction that we have prepared to what our ideas at this point of time are. And I would like to introduce Julia Genu. She is in the support team, as I said before, for the joint programming platform. And she has the nice logo in the background. Thanks, Julia. I didn't manage to do so. Project chains. What is the actual idea?
Thank you, Ludwig, and good morning to everyone from my side as well. Yes, so I will give you a short introduction to what we mean by the project chains and what we will discuss today also in the breakout session. So the idea is starting from the fact that EU and transnational projects aim generally to answer joint challenges and bring about change in policy, society, and the economy. And based on the project idea and funding specificities, a project will often address specific issues and bring a targeted solution to these issues. And this solution needs to be also put together and continued and built on to provoke change and create impact, because often in the duration of the project, there are a lot of good solutions that are developed, but there is not necessarily the time in the project and the means to go towards impact and adoption. So project chain as such can be defined as a succession of projects that are addressing the same core challenge, but from different point of view, and go from technology development to implementation and adoption. And then the funding programs and partner joining in the project chain program work together on providing information and streamline funding opportunities. I mean, ideally streamline the funding opportunities for these EU project partners that they manage to create indeed this chain of projects. And so I try to do a little graphical representation of that, what that could look like. So for example, you could have a series of projects that work on developing new technologies. So there could be a joint programming platform project. So it's basically an ERANET project 1 or project 2 and an Horizon project. And then they could go into testing, phases of testing their developed technologies. And there are different options for this. There are, for example, testing in a living lab is one option, or two projects could have their partner get together into an Interact project, the Interact project 1 here. And then when the technologies are tested, they could be implemented and in the regions in the framework of, for example, another Interact project to create policy impact. And then based on this last Interact project, there could be also an identification of the need of the development for a new technology. Which could happen again in a more RDI or RDD project and go back to programs like Horizon or the partnerships.
This looks straightforward. I mean, why don't we do that? Is it an issue?
Yeah, I mean, it's because all the programs have their own logic, and there have been already initiatives in that direction, and that will be presented now in the panel. But then that's it. The project chain, if you go one step further, is where we basically want to work on these green arrows between the different projects here. And that's what the programs can do. And that's what we want to achieve with the project chain program, that we make these green arrows as smooth as possible and as visible as possible to all project partners.
Okay, so this is about the green arrows.
Exactly.
Now we get into a little session asking people from such programs how they cooperate already, how they want to cooperate. But first of all, I would like to show you what the result is, who is there. This is also interesting for the representatives, of course, of the program. To whom are we going to talk now? This is the result of, I don't know, some didn't find the Mentimeter thing, some maybe didn't like it, I don't know. But we have quite some funding program managers. We will see them in a breakout session later. So they will stick together and think about what can we do together, or what can we do better together. Of course, we have also quite some typical project applicants or participants. I would guess some researchers and some other representatives that are not program managers and not project participants, maybe intermediaries, maybe from regional or city development centers, I don't know, you will show up in the breakout session. You can introduce yourself. So we have multiple dimensions of stakeholders here, and this is the best setting to discuss. To discuss, we have invited 3 representatives. We have Ozolaya Küttel. She will present a bit more of the joint programming platform SES. In a minute, we have Victoria Dobravec from the city of Vienna. She is quite well known in the Interreg Central Europe world. I'm happy to have you. And we have Solen Goy. She represents the OPIN Project, whatever that is. So I do invite the 3 of you to quickly introduce yourself and your organization or program, and then we get into a little discussion that leads us then to the right questions for our breakout sessions. So we said that Ozolaya Küttel is going to start. I have a slide here for you, Ozolaya. You will introduce your organization, I think, yourself and what it is and why it is.
Thank you very much. I would like to welcome everyone. It's an honor to be in this panel and to listen to the discussion. I've already taken some notes because it was also very interesting to listen to Alessia addressing the policy aspect. Because myself, so to introduce myself, my name is Ozolaya Küttel. I'm working at the Hungarian National Research, Development and Innovation Office. And today I'm here as one of the co-chairs of the JPP SES initiative. But so that as we've already seen what type of participants are there, we still don't know who exactly you are. So I assume that not all of you eventually know what is the Joint Programming Platform Smart Energy System. Therefore, just to give you a basic idea, eventually this is an RNF initiative, which means that we facilitate the collaboration of national and regional research, development and innovation funding programs. So this is already eventually in parallel what Alessia said about the importance of policy level cooperation. We implement that through funding cooperation. Our core activity therefore includes the financing of transnational research projects which develop close to market solutions and involve different stakeholders, let it be companies, SMEs, research organizations, or even public organizations. Beyond this financing role, we also aim to create and share strategic knowledge. So this is also a very important chunk of our work, to say so. And why we all do these different types of activities is practically our overarching ambition to enable the smart energy system vision of Europe through first finding the right technologies, inventing the right technologies. Secondly, adopt and develop different market designs which suit this setting. And last but not least, enable customer adoption. So that's what we call a 3-layer research model, which is a very important characteristic of our approach, because it facilitates integrated and interdisciplinary approach among the different fields. Through all our activities, what we try to do is practically focus on the SET plan, which was already also mentioned today. And within SET plan, the European SET plan, our focus is on Action 4, which is to increase the resilience and security of the energy system. What we already achieved in this setting is that, as I said, we are practically facilitating the collaboration of funding programs. So we have more than 30 funding partners from more than 25 countries. These countries are eventually not only from Europe, but also outside of Europe. So that is also an expanded approach, what we can be proud of, to say so. And then we have yearly calls for proposals around different topics and focus initiatives, how we call it. And we've managed to fund already close to 70 projects. And through this project, as I said, that our aim is also to create knowledge. We established a knowledge community. But when we talk about our achievements, it's really important to see that it's not only purely focusing on the technical aspect, so to create the smart energy system, which I mentioned already so many times, but it's also about the cross-sector integration. This is again in alignment with what Alessia said, that it's very important to encourage also by the EUSEW, so the European Commission. The horizontal work is encouraged because we want to work across sectors, so not only the energy sector, but also transport and the industry and agriculture and all the other interested interested parties need to be involved in that. But what is probably mainly bringing us to today's topic is that we also need to think of developing an innovation ecosystem, so linking together the different aspects, the different levels of involvement, and how we can do or how we can go beyond funding. Because our main focus, as I said, is collaborating on the funding programs, but we also need to think further and make sure that we ensure the sustainability of these funded projects.
Thank you, Azalea, for introducing also a complex beast. So with great ambitions, it's about transnational projects, it's about linking the domains, it's about research, and it's about a bit also development. It sounds a bit like Interreg projects, but it's not. It's sister program. But what is Interreg? For Interreg, we have invited a representative of the Interreg Central Europe. Some of you probably know that there are multiple Interregs, but Central Europe is the one that Victoria can present and represent. So your turn, Victoria. What is Interreg Central Europe all about? I show Central Europe. I think this is the page you need.
Yes, thank you, Ludwig, for giving me the floor. And thank you also for the invitation. I would like to welcome you also from my side, from Vienna, and would like to briefly introduce what our program actually is about. But first, in general, to tell you what Interreg is. Interreg is one of the key instruments of the European Union for supporting cooperation across borders through project funding. And in specific, when we talk about Interreg Central Europe program, it is one of its transnational program, which is funded by the European Regional and Development Fund under the European Territorial Cooperation Goal of the European Cohesion Policy. On this very basic slide, you can see the setting of our program for the programming period 2021-2027, in which Interreg Central Europe covers cities and regions from 9 EU member states. In particular, it covers all the regions from Poland, Czech Republic, Slovakia, Austria, Hungary, Slovenia, and Croatia, but it also covers selected regions from Germany and Italy. And in total, this means 81 NUTS2 statistical regions with almost 148 million inhabitants in 2019. What is actually the aim in brief of our Interreg Central Europe program is to jointly tackle common challenges and find shared solutions for smarter, greener, and better connected Central Europe. And maybe just for you to have a little bit impression on the size of our program, I would give you a couple of statistical information from previous 2014-2020 programming period, where our program was covering 4 priorities, namely innovation, low carbon, nature and culture, and transport. In this programming period, we had in total 4 calls for proposals, with the last one launched in 2019. And about this call, I will talk a little bit later. And after closing this last call, we are now funding in total 138 projects, which includes more than 1,400 partners, and the total ERDF fund available for this programming period is 231 million euros. This is a little bit from my side to give you an impression what Interreg is. And as I said, later I will tell you how we see us in this project chain network.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I announced the third input. The third input is from Solène Goy. She represents OPIN, whatever OPIN is. You will explain, Solène.
Yes, I will. Thanks, Ludwig, and thanks for the invitation. So yeah, my name is Solène. I am a program executive in the Sustainable Energy Authority of Ireland. And with my colleague Anna Sladic, we are leading the OPIN project in SEAI. So what does OPIN mean? OPIN is the acronym for Ocean Power Innovation Network. It's a 4-year project which received financial support from Interreg Northwest Europe. So we now have more than 400 members in the network, and we are 7 partners working on a daily basis to achieve the project objectives. The project focuses on offshore renewable energy, and it aims at encouraging cross-sectoral and cross-regional collaboration. And to do so, we are offering different types of services to our members. So, for example, we organize webinars and masterclasses to facilitate knowledge transfer and to provide networking opportunities. We also provide access to expert advice through the Technology Assessment Process Service, or TAP. A TAP is basically a high-level independent assessment of an SME's product, and it's carried out by a team of OPIN experts. And we provide feedback on, for example, design principle and route to market. We also encourage collaboration through the CIG service, or Collaborative Innovation Group. So this is basically a mechanism that allows OPIN members to form a group with complementary expertise and to address together problems which are a barrier to the deployment of offshore renewable energy. And the OPIN experts provide facilitation services and technical expertise to these groups. So yeah, we also provide travel support, but this has been paused due to COVID. So yeah, that's it for OPIN. Joining OPIN is very easy. So it's free, it's quick, and you just have to fill out a membership form on our website. And if you have any question on the project, do not hesitate to contact us at opin@sci.ie.
Solène, I have a question. I mean, it's a great network. It's a funded project by Interreg Northwest in that case. How long is it going to run? You said it until next year. But what happens then? I mean, is that going to die, or will Interreg Northwest keep funding you? What is your expectations?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we are receiving funding until September 2022. And we are currently discussing what the future of OPIN will look like. So we recently contracted a study to a company called Optimat to provide guidance on how the OPIN partners could ensure the legacy of the project.
Could Interreg help? I mean, I would ask Victoria. I mean, you are very familiar with Interreg. I mean, could I don't know, you cannot talk for Interreg Northwest, of course, but could an Interreg program help OPIN to survive and go on forever?
Well, that's an interesting question indeed. Of course, we have calls for proposal, and I can talk primarily about Interreg Central Europe, for which we are preparing the first call for the programming period 2021-27 that is just about to be launched. So for people in our audience also to know, of course, we accept projects idea which can be as well such a network, but it's not really a guarantee. Of course, it is possible, and we would be glad to have such a living network, but let's see.
Thanks. One of the options that was
Have you done that? Victoria, have you done that before? I heard that especially Central Europe has joined forces with Horizon and other programs. Is that a good example where you cooperated with other programs to continue activities of an Interreg project?
Yes, indeed. As I already mentioned during the introduction of the program, within our fourth and the last call for proposals in the last programming period, we have exactly tested this new approach to capitalization, so-called capitalization through coordination across EU funding instruments. And what actually was aim of this call is to improve access of regions and cities to excellent research results in order to better address territorial challenges. And in this regard, we wanted to combine results from Interreg programs, primarily Interreg Central Europe, but also other programs directly funded by the European Union. Among others, this is, of course, Horizon.
What was the experience? I mean, do you feel like, from that experience, do you feel like we could go on with our project chain idea?
Yes, definitely. We had really a lot of learnings from this call, even though I have to say that it is still ongoing because the projects are still ongoing until the first half of 2022. So really the final results and how this call had impact on the ground, we will know next year. But already during the preparation of the call, we have launched 2 surveys. And from this, we gathered a lot of insights. On the one hand, research and innovation stakeholders and Interreg stakeholders expressed really high interest in such collaboration and working together. And moreover, we found that there is really a high potential for synergies between research and innovation and Interreg project results.
I think that was also the reason why JPP SES, and asking a last question to Azalea, why did JPP SES start this program? I mean, what are the limitations of such a program like the ERANET Smart Energy Systems? I mean, why don't we just keep going, funding projects one after the other, keep them alive? Why do we talk to other programs?
Thank you. That's an excellent question, and it very much brings me to my comment, what Victoria just stated in her reaction the last couple of minutes, talking about synergies. So what we realized in the umbrella or under the umbrella of the JPP SES is that we need to make all efforts to avoid reinvention of ideas, because if we just, as we are a funding program, of course we fund projects, we want to encourage the participants to develop new ideas. However, we need to make sure that at the same time we keep our horizon broad. So we look at other initiatives, we map different already existing solutions, already existing other initiatives, let it be partnerships or an Interact project. Because even for me now, participating in this panel, I've learned already about new things, which I haven't known, I have to admit. So it's very interesting, and we need to foster this kind of collaboration and a conversation. So I think this kind of event, and already the idea of the project chains, which was introduced by Julia, is very important, because the duration of the project which we can fund is limited. But we need to make sure that the idea, that the solution which was brought alive lives on, and that these projects don't exist in a vacuum, but they connect with each other and they build on each other, and we can make them connect to different stakeholders. So as we are focusing on research and development projects, we need to somehow ensure, and that's what we realize that we are lacking, or where our scope is limited, that we need to ensure that they connect to the end users, to the need owners, how we call them, to those other stakeholders, like at regional or local levels, who are the potential buyers or users of the developed solutions, the decision makers, different startups. So it's a very complex ecosystem where we exist, and we need to make sure that we join the different dots so that we can foster these synergies and fill in the potential knowledge gap. I'm sorry, you're muted, Ludwig.
Thank you for the quick introduction, and I'm happy that you learned something already. You will keep going. We will have 2 parallel sessions now. One is dedicated to the program managers, so people like those that have been speaking together now, but also one for the others, so the beneficiaries of such a project chain thing. But before we get into the breakout rooms, let me take the opportunity and ask you via chat. You get the link, but let me ask you with our Mentimeter thing about what is your expectations after you have heard what it is more or less all about and what it can bring to us. Please let us know in this quick poll what you think it should be. But I have to start it. Give me a second. You get to the Mentimeter as you have seen before.
Yes, but it does not ask for a code in my case.
It does not call for a code. Yeah, because you have been there already. It knows that you are a brilliant user of the Mentimeter. So you should be able to now just type some words. Don't write too much. It should fit on the screen here. But give us some ideas. What are your expectations from this program that we are trying to start? Anyone has an idea? No expectations. That sounds strange. Does the system work? Yeah, we have an expectation. Overall impact of project results. Okay. Maybe a bit more. Overall impact means don't invest into something that at the end no one needs and can use, right? That would be my interpretation of that. Expectations to the program owners and managers: fully support the joint venture and partnership at the level, industry, universities, etc. So don't stay with research. That's my interpretation. Go to products, deployment, which is difficult, right? And where also like we have the program owners, we are research funding, it's not so easy to fund development of products, right?
Yeah,
So there needs to be next steps and other programs, investment programs maybe. Long-range planning, get a good overview of how to bridge gaps between different projects. Good. That's the green arrows that Julia has shown. Create synergies among different initiatives, enable sustainability, take it from basic research, TRL 1 to market phase, MRL 9, something like that. Yeah, we got quite something. That's good stuff to discuss in the breakout sessions. Let me go to another question. What support should be offered to RDI project partners and applicants? Support by the programs? So I don't know, to get to the right program or something, but what support would you expect beyond the support you get from the programs already? I mean, with the project chain program that links somehow programs, what would it be? Gain insights into current market opportunities? Financial coverage of R&D costs? I thought that is something that you get already. We can discuss that in the breakout session. It's not clear if we are setting up a new program or is this an overall concept? Okay. We can discuss that in the breakout session number 1. Definitely, it will not be a new funding program as such. It will be something like a cooperation of existing funding programs, that's for sure, but fair question. More brokerage events to expand the links. Yeah, right. Bring people together, matchmaking and stuff. Well, quite some input. Let's go ahead. One last question. This is maybe not so much to the research development community. This is more like to, how did you call them? Need owners, Ursula? The need owners, and maybe the need owners are the developers of regions, cities, communities, etc. What would help them to access new technologies developed in RDI programs? Well, we said we want to take it from research to deployment. Deployment is somewhere out there in the cities, in the rural areas, in the citizenships. So how can we make sure that what we do in RDI ends up in the houses and factories out there? What could we do? Advertise in local TV or what? Okay. Right. Living labs, test beds, that's interesting. The knowledge what is going on. Oh. That's probably true. I have been talking to a lot of mayors that say, I have no clue what's going on in all these European funding programs, research development programs. Can someone tell me? Okay, that gives us an idea. We are running a bit late. We can take that to the breakout sessions. I have to remove it from here somehow. I don't know how. I don't get to this thing. Okay, now we go. Thank you for your inputs. Now we have, say, 20 minutes or so to discuss it, to digest it a bit. As I said before, you have the opportunity to go to one of two sessions. The number one is more like for program owners, program managers. The number two is for the others. And the others should discuss a bit what do we really expect. You guys from breakout session number one, we have quite some homework for you. Let's quickly wrap up. If you don't mind, the breakout session 2 starts, so you get an impression, your program owners, what they are after. Katharina has taken some notes. Can you share them with us?
Sure. Second. Now you should be able to see my screen.
Yeah, it's fine.
So these are some results from our group work. So first of all, we discussed the support for projects which need to be done from basic research to the market. And Tina from Click Innovation gave us an example from the government of Finland, which financed problems from the beginning until the adoption for a longer financing time of 10 years. But as the government changed, this option is not present anymore. But this would be an important financing instrument. And then there was also a solution to the problem of short-term financing to involve the industry as for long-term planning. And there was also one example from the Czech Republic. There is a company that funds research projects and also the process to bring them to the market. And they have a consortium of customers and researchers, which they say is a crucial link to connect researchers also to the customers and also to ask the customers what is important for them. And then there were also some experiences that it was important to plan the synergies from running projects from the beginning onwards. And so there was one person asking for some feedback from others, but there were not. We didn't have these people in there. But they have a consortium with cooperatives and research projects, but there is often also a clash in culture, let's say, because the cooperatives want to know from the beginning how to upscale the results. And for this, again, this long-term financing instrument would be an option.
That is exactly something we had that at the end, Katharina, and that's, I think, where we can switch to the other breakout session. We said we cannot promise people from the very beginning of a low-level research to the end of the product. We cannot promise how it works, but we can promise that someone takes care of it. And I think this is one of the big requirements to the project chain program. We promise that we take care, or can you promise more? Who is going to give a short report? Julia or Zelaya, who can speak? Who wants to speak has to switch on the microphone.
How do you want to do, Zelaya? I'm flexible.
It's fine if you took the notes, so it's fine if you do it.
Okay, I can start, and please, everyone that was in the session, don't hesitate to compliment if there is anything I forget. So I've tried to put a bit in colors the discussion here. It was very fruitful and very interesting, and I've put also in pink now what I think is already was already mentioned in your first session. So how we want to address this need of project partners to have a perspective over the years and to have the information for follow-up funding or the possibility to do a project chain. So there was a question of a challenge that ex ante, so that you mentioned as well, that ex ante it's not necessarily so easy before starting the project to know what type of results you can follow up on afterwards. But you can possibly already have a general idea about that. And what the program can do for this is basically all of these activities, but in particular ensure the availability of information on a one-stop shop for all the programs, and also provide dedicated support to project partners who would like to continue their idea and don't know how to do this. And how can we do this? There are different levels of involvement from program managers possible. There are things that are more simple to do, like dedicated events or dedicated, so mutual invitation from one program to the other in their respective conference, also to give perspective to the project partner. The need to increase cross-fertilization, the need to also increase the capacity of a program manager, because sometimes even the program manager, the steering board members, etc., don't necessarily know about other options and other programs. And then if we want to go one step further, we could go towards a dedicated call for proposals as Central Europe put in place, but also joint matchmaking tool or event. Apparently there is also a joint matchmaking tool that was planned along this dedicated call between Central Europe and Interact Central Europe and DG RTD. And then, yes, this has to do a bit with this one-stop shop idea, an overarching picture of calls and project opportunities for project, and that could look like a map on how, or a mapping how my project idea could fit in the big picture for projects. With information of, for example, the services that are offered by the dedicated programs and type of project and type of program, etc. And on this, it is important also to consider what's already existing in terms of information on the project and funding, and information on results. So here we mentioned a bridge for information on results from Horizon project, and KEEP for information on results from Interreg projects, and also the European Commission website. We'd have to see exactly which page on this, but for information on calls. And then going a bit further, we were thinking that if we really want to go further, we may have to think about also modifying the way the call are set out to be able to increase the synergies, and include that also in the requirements of calls. And there was also the idea brought by Michele De Negris to integrate maybe this as a task for the NSCG to coordinate such a projection program, because this would be in line with the aim of the NSCG to draw this this link between member states and the European Commission and the industry.
And how was the mood in your group? Are you going ahead?
Great.
Great. So it's time. I don't know if it's time to say we have kicked it off, or we have started it, or at least we go ahead. But we can announce what are the next steps, Julia.
Exactly. And so the next steps from here is that first, of course, we will digest the information and inform you about or send you the link to the material from today. And then we have a session planned at our JPP SES policy conference on the 23rd of November. So you are very much welcome to join this session to go further on this. And we will open the registration soon on our website that you can find here. And if you want to go further with this activity or contact us for more information, you can write us at office@eranetsmartenergysystem.eu.
Thank you very much. We are coming to end. It's about time to say thank you. I say thank you to Alessia. I think she had to leave us. I say thank you to Rosalaya, Victoria, Solen. I also say thank you to Julia, my co-moderator and organizer of that. Say thank you to Katarina, to Anna, and also to Alisa. And let me say something personal. I have been moderating so many sessions on energy. Never ever a completely female crew. Thanks a lot. This is maybe the change that we need in Europe.